recording. I'm recording how to use car now. I'm going to record how to use car. All right. So if we want to learn how to use car, we go like this. So the first thing you do is go to car.org and you are in business. You need to set up your account. You hit sign in. And when you do, you have to put a username and password. But once you do get in, once you do the login, this is where you will end up. There is a lot of very useful things to car.org that I feel like I have to give you a quick commercial. There's so much articles. You know how all the commission thing has changed in the last month? You can go here and read to your heart's content under here. I'm probably not here. I'm sorry. I don't even know where to go. So you got housing market data. There's a podcast that's really cool. If you go on your Apple Housing Matters podcast, two data nerds talk for an hour. I love it. Okay, that's not what I wanted to show you, but Transaction Center, risk management. Sorry, there you go. So under Transaction Center, under risk management, there's tons of Q&As and information about any changes ever. It's really useful. That's how I read up on this stuff as best I can. There are also classes you can take through CAR. Let's see what else. Some data. So this is really neat. Watch this. So CAR gives us little thumbnails that we could put on our social media or just for information purposes. And they're really good at it. And of course, on the spot, I'm not gonna be able to find it. There we go. Current sales and price statistics. So it shows us the data every month, and we can use these charts. So you can see in LA, in August, the median price was $827. Last month it was $849, and so on. That's pretty neat. So that's really a good thing. They also do it for each city, and that's what I'm having trouble finding. But also they put together this, which is really neat. This is just at a glance. So a lot of good data, and you can download it and use it. You can also okay, so it's the same thing. So I'm gonna go back. All right. Okay. You can also do it per city, and I can't find it right now, but I promise it's here. It's probably under market data. All right, I'm gonna go back here, and we're back. And so you've signed in, you got here, and you're gonna go here. This is how you're gonna access Zipforms. You're gonna click on transactions. It's gonna take you here, and then you're gonna click on Access Now under Transactions. We talked about Line Desk the other day. This is how you use Line Desk as a CRM. Okay, so now I'm here. Put your username and password in, and I'm in. So many hurdles to get in. But here's one more hurdle. And it's loading. All right. So this shows all the transactions all the folders represent something I did for some property somewhere. But we're going to start new. We're going to start new. So anybody writing an offer on let's pretend. Okay, let's use, no, I don't want to use that because I wrote an offer on it, so I don't want to confuse Armando. There's a new listing that I got to preview ahead on Clancy or Cheney. Nope. Cheney. Cheney. Oh, wait, Hilden, sorry. It's on Hilden. All right, here we go. So there's a listing at 10,545, and I'm going to pretend to write an offer on this house. So, so what I want for it is I want to use the MLS, and I'm going to use MLS Touch to find it. So when I look it up, it's 10545 Hilden. So we can't have this. All right. However, I have access to the MLS, and so I'm going to go in the MLS and find the DRE number. I mean the MLS number, and I have it. So I'm going to click MLS Connect. And what's going to be the remarkable thing on this, and you have to go in all capital letters, by the way, OC 24193782. Click Find if I want to include the property photo. Why not? Hit Find. It found it, and I found it. We're in business. I'm going to click Use Listing, and I have now auto-populated all the fields. So when I pull up a contract, whatever I pull up, it'll take that property. Okay. So I don't have to write the address. It's already there. Okay. It's residential. Now, one interesting thing that I should be teaching, but I'm not going to do it here, is you can set up templates for yourself. You can create templates. We won't do it here, but if you had a template set up, you can go right here and select a template, and you're in business. When you hit save, it'll pull up whatever forms that you had in your template. It'll pull it up. Even you can make it where the forms are filled out the way you want. Like it always has your address, your name, your address, your DRE number, all set, so you don't have to do it again. That would be under template. All right, but I'm just gonna hit save. And it's gonna slowly do this. Okay, and here we are. So here's the deal with this. The deal with this is documents is everything in that everything you've already downloaded would be under documents. On the right is the forms that you want. So you want to write an offer. So to write an offer, we're going to put in the code for an offer. It's RPA. I'm just going to click the first one. It's fine. Okay. Now that we have to have a buyer broker agreement, if you showed this house already, you probably have a buyer broker agreement already on file. However, let's pretend you want to do a new one, a BRBC, or you want to do a PSRA, just especially a property specific buyer representation agreement just for this house. And so you decided to do that. So for this property right now, I'm going to do a PSRA. And the reason is maybe you did a BRBC and you made them do 3% for a commission, okay. But maybe on this particular one, you guys agreed, hey, let's just do, I'll do 2.5 for you or whatever. So I'm going to make a new buyer agreement just for this property. So I'm going to use the PSRA for that. Or if you're a bad boy or girl and you didn't do a buyer representation agreement at all, which of course you did, but you want to maybe just have it more current, you can go ahead and use that, and you can pull up a BRBC. Okay. Other forms you may need would be the following. If the client is contingent, you may need that form. If the client is FHA or VA, you will need that form. If you plan on removing some contingencies in your offer, you'll need the contingency removal form. But I'm going to do that as I'm going, and I'm going to show you that by just clicking a box, it automatically will pick up that form, and I didn't have to do anything. So here we go. So then all you have to do is touch outside the forms box, and it'll go away. Easy enough. I'm going to spend the majority of my time here, but since we are going to do a PSRA just specific for this property, let's just go to it. And so it was prepared today, and my buyer's name is Alec Leva. There. And I showed Alec this property on Haledon. So I'm making this buyer representation agreement just specific for this house. Even though I already had a BRBC, some may disagree with what I'm doing. A PSRA has a limitation on how long. I think it's going to say in a second how long, but I can't remember. I think it's 30 days. Oh, it's 30 days. It's 30 days. Yeah. So I'm going to pretend that I'm going to just have it through the end of the month. Because if this house works out, great. This one counts. If not, if it expires, great. We're going to revert back to our original BRBC, which was for 90 days. All right. And then we agreed to do, instead of doing 3%, for some reason, Alec is a cool guy, and I decided to do it for 2.5%. Or maybe you reached out to the listing agent and the listing agent said, yes, I will pay 2.5%. So you want to put that to full force and do a PSRA to reflect that. If your BRBC does not reflect that. All right. So it's here. We put that in. Is it automatically exclusive? Okay. All my information is already here, except my DRE. And if you've written it a few times, it should be here for you. Yes, my DRE number is that simple. Okay, and the office DRE, and I think we're in business. All right, so we're there. Now, what happened was you're like, hey, a second ago when we first got into the car, we had all the forms on the same screen. But then when you clicked on it, now you're looking at just the PSRA. How do I go now to the purchase contract? Well, it's on the side. So this section right here is what you're working with. And these are your other forms like ready to be used. So I'm going to bring this up by just dragging it, just like that. However, maybe, especially when I print it out or email it, I don't want it to be, maybe I want it to be first. So I can do this, no big deal. Okay, so now it's here. All right, so here we go. Alec is a buyer, and it's all there. So the first one's the agency. We're going to skip through that. We'll go through the forms another day. Aha, look at this. Christopher Lardy from Home Smart Evergreen Realty is already there. All right, date prepared is today. Buyer, why is it not there? It is. Okay, there it is. It put in the APN number, the address. It's all there. Okay, who does Christopher represent? The seller. So I'm going to check off seller. Okay. I'm not going to talk too much right now about some nitty-gritties. We're just going to make it simple in a second. Okay, this one, I represent the buyer only. And I check that box off. Okay, so the property is listed for the property is listed for $1,099,000. Alec really wants this house because it's a beautiful house, all fixed up, and it's got an ADU in the back. So he is all over this house. So we decide to do $1,000,001, a full price, but we're going to just go up $1,000. So there we go. We're going to do a 30-day escrow. So you check off that box and you put in 30. We are going to do a deposit. Your deposit can be up to 3%. I want to look strong. If I want to go medium, I'll do 2%. If I want to go wimpy, I'll do 1%. If I want to go strong, I'll do 3%. And I'm going to do 3 because you really want this house. So it does not, see how it says percent? And I said I wanted to do 3%. I can't write in 3%. So I have to do the math for what 3% of 1,100,000. Thank goodness it's pretty easy. And then watch what happens. It instantly tells me the 3% the minute I put it in. All right. And then Alec tells me he is putting 20, excuse me. Alec tells me he is FHA. He is putting 3.5% down. So we can't put the down payment alone. We can only, our only input field besides the deposit and the price is the loan amount. So if the down payment is 3.5%, what percent is left? What percent is the loan amount? What percent is the loan amount? So again, just tell me percent first. Don't tell me the amount yet. What percent would the loan amount be if the down payment is 3.5%? What percent is the loan amount?
90.
You got it. 96.5. So 100 minus 3.5 gives you 96.5. So the loan amount that we're using for an FHA buyer that's 3.5, the loan amount is 96.5%. Okay, Jesslyn, now you can go ahead and do it. Do 0.965 times 1,100,000. So you have to do the math, but the minute you put it in, it's going to say 96.5. 1,061,500. And we're in business. What also happened the minute we wrote 1,061,500 here, the minute we did it, it put balance of purchase price of 5,500 instantly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the tricky part. It won't let you put the balance of purchase price. It won't let you put the down payment. It only allows you to put deposit, price, and loan amount, and then it does the math for you for the balance. Okay. Oh, but wait, Alec was FHA, we said. So we need to check off the FHA box. The minute we do, look what happens on the right-hand side. The FHA form is here. Okay, we'll come back to that. We're going to keep going. Okay, so we did a PSRA, as you know, for the asking the seller, we want to do a form where we ask the seller to pay the commission for me, for my buyer, Alec. So on this second page, I have to check off this box for the SPBB, and I forgot. So here we're going to go back to that real quick. We're going to go to this, and here is the form where I ask the seller to pay my client's commission. So this form has to reflect equal or less than what is on the buyer representation agreement. Equal or less. If it is more, my buyer representation, so in other words, if my buyer representation said 3, and here I'm only asking them to pay 2.5, that means my buyer Alec would have to pay the extra 0.5%. So that doesn't happen. I want to make sure they mesh with each other. Okay. Likewise, if I have a buyer representation agreement or a PSRA that says 2, and then in this SPBB, I'm asking for 3, the listing agent and the seller and the escrow company will go, well, your buyer representation agreement only said that you were supposed to get paid 2. So we don't care that you asked for 3. The seller is only obligated to pay you 2. So tough, you're going to have to go get your buyer to pay the other 1%. All right, so we're going to make it mirror by putting 2.5 here, come into here, and we're done. That was good. That was easy. We're going to go back over to the purchase agreement. And here we are. And actually, since I did that and I checked off the VA, FHA, let's go here to the FHA VA. You also always want to put the date that we wrote the contract. So this is an addendum to the purchase agreement dated, and you want to put the date, whatever is at the top of your purchase agreement. In this case, it happened to be this date. I don't have the seller's information, so I'm going to let it be. The other big thing that you need to write on an FHA VA amendatory clause is you have to write the price that you're going to put in your offer, you have to write it here. So we did 1,100,000. So I'm writing it here. Caution. If they end up getting multiple offers and they counter us at 1,125,000, and we submitted this paperwork, and then we get in escrow, the lender is going to want us to do a new FHA VA amendatory clause so that it reflects the real sales price of 1,125,000. So just caution that if this is different than what your final sales price, the lender is going to ask you for this. Just beware of that. Okay, so we're going back to the purchase agreement, and here we go. So, oh, okay, we wanted to make this competitive, and Alec was qualified with his lender, and Alec has 800 plus FICO score. He is a W-2 wage earner making $200,000 a year. He doesn't have any credit debt at all. He has no debt, and he currently rents for $4,000 a month. So he is a solid buyer that 100% is going to qualify. And for some reason, we wanted to make this look so amazing. Also, if it didn't appraise, Alec was willing to pay the difference. So we're making an offer of 1,100,000. And what if it appraises for $1 million, $100,000? Alec said to me, "I'll pay the difference." Or let's say we're not going to be that wild, because if management or the owner, Mel Bordelis, is watching this video, he's going to start, I'll probably get a phone call saying, "What? You're telling people on video to remove their appraisal and loan contingency?" So not a good idea. We'll talk about that in another class. But let's say at least you were going to do this. You're going to reduce your contingencies because you're solid. You're going to reduce it to, let's say, 12, making it up. And let's say the appraisal, you're definitely not worried about that. You're going to check off no appraisal contingency. And then when it comes to the investigation, you say, your agent, Michael, tells you, you know what, we can get an inspector over to the house like in a couple days. Let's give ourselves 1 week to take care of everything. So we're going to put 7 days down the line. There's no solar. I don't have to worry about that. So we're going to do that. All right. So now it makes a comment on the side that if you removed a contingency, that you should probably use the contingency removal form. So we're going to do that. We're going to check that off, and here it comes. Here it comes. It was added. And again, what did we remove? What contingency did we remove? What did we remove? We only removed one. We removed the appraisal. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to this one. This is contingency removal number 1. It's the contingency removal to the purchase agreement dated today, the day of our contract, and he is removing the appraisal. So I put that. Okay, so we're just trying to look good, make a good solid offer. I'm gonna go back to the offer. Okay, here we go. All right. So we're back to here. And does anyone live in the house? It is vacant. So the default is close of escrow, so you're good there. But if someone lived in the house, you would check off this box here and you put 3 days or whatever. If you do check that box off, the minute you check it off, it's going to want you to use the SIP form, which is kind of like a mini rental agreement because the seller is still living in the house after it closed escrow. If it's more than 30 days, please, if you check this box off, please talk to management. Okay. Because they get very nervous if to have a seller in a house for that long. There are some other implications, as well as the lender. If you're getting a loan, the lender wants you to move into the house within 30 days. So if it's more than 30, beware. All right. All this good stuff. We took a look at the kitchen, and we noticed there was a stove, an oven, and we wanted to stay. We checked that off. Even put a refrigerator in the house. We want this to stay, or whatever. There was a dishwasher, there was a microwave, and let's say there was no refrigerator. Okay, we checked that off. All right. Last thing, before this is the last details. Who's going to pay for what? The allocation of costs. So here it goes. This is going to be a quick version. seller's gonna pay for the natural hazard, and maybe you're gonna say seller's choice. And you're in Downey, which is very safe. There's no wildfire. So you're gonna undo that. You're not asking for termite for some reason. You're gonna ask the seller to do this. There's no point of sale inspections here in Downey, so you're not gonna put any of that. But if you did, you would put seller and seller. Escrow fee, each to pay their own. And if you can get EscrowNet, great. But the listing agent is from South Orange County, probably has his own escrow company. So we're gonna leave it at seller's choice. Title company also, seller's choice. Transfer tax, county transfer tax, the seller pays it. There is no city transfer tax in Downey. If you're worried about transfer tax, you can ask Michael or Carmen, and we will help you with a list of what cities have transfer tax. The city that has a transfer tax is Los Angeles. The county transfer tax anywhere in state of California is $1.10 per thousand. So on a $1.1 million house, the county transfer tax is $1,210. If it was in the city of LA, on top of the $1,210, if it's in the city of LA, it's $4.50 freaking cents per thousand on top of the 1.1.
So that Dodger Stadium house,
Oh, yes.
right, it would be.
It would be 4.5. So it'd be 4.5 times 1,100. It'd be an additional 4,950. Holy cow. All right. Okay, it's not in an HOA, so we're not worried about that. Home warranty. Alec wanted to get a good home warranty plan. A lot of times the listing agent will let you choose that. So maybe you want to put Old Republic. Okay. And we want to put, the house had an ADU. The house had air conditioning. So we want to look up the plan. And of course, I'm not prepared today, but refer to, there's a guide, whether you use First American or Old Republic or another one. A lot of these companies have a little guide to share with you the coverage. So in this case, I don't remember, but I know I want an upgraded policy. I know it has air conditioning, so I want AC. And I also know that it has a second unit. So I'm going to put extra structure, and that may not be the proper way. I'm not writing ADU. I'm not writing guest house. I'm also not writing, second unit because it's not, it's just, it is an ADU. I'm just going to write extra structure just to cover my butt. And then the last one is we always use something called CRESS. Don't ask me what CRESS stands for. I don't know, but it gives you, the agent, extra coverage if you were ever to get into a lawsuit. It gives your client an extra month of coverage on their home warranty. And that's why we use it. It helps us also, if you do get in a lawsuit, it helps to reduce your deductible so much. So it's helpful. So write CRESS. So as I say, the old Dove commercial, before you dress, caress. Was that the commercial? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, before you write an offer, use CRESS. Okay, great. No rhyming, but whatever. Okay. Then you look at the guide. You also look at the guide to help you with how much you should ask the seller. So in this case, I know that what I want, I'm pretty sure what I want is like 720. I know that an extra structure is probably 350 to 400. I'm going to write 500. I know I'm going a little crazy, but I'm going to write 1250. Play it safe. I may not even be safe. All right. Yes.
The part where it says private transfer fee,
Yes.
you don't click that one?
So private transfer fee. Oh my God. Private transfer fee. we don't have grab a chair.
Gotta catch your knees.
Oh my God. So we don't have private transfer fee. I've never seen a private transfer fee, ever. I'm going to give you an example of private transfer fee. The only time I ever saw private transfer fee, or I've heard of it, is certain builders in communities. They put into the into their deed that if this house was to ever sell, that they have to pay them a private transfer fee. Such BS. So I mean, you don't really ever see it. I mean, you know that of course you'll have a transfer fee if it's an HOA, but that's not private. I mean, that's so we would check off HOA transfer fee for that, but all right. And so if this property happened to be tenant occupied or a probate or something funky, we would check off some of these other addendums, which it's not. If it was a bank repo or needed court confirmation or it was a short sale, we would check off more stuff. If it was again bank repo, a trust, things like that, we would check off some of these advisories. We're not going to do that. So we're essentially done. I'm going to go almost to here. So this is just a quick, if you're going to end up using Authentisign, which is a free e-signing service through your Zipform product, it's free. Or if you're using DocuSign, like I do with it, just be careful because in both cases, liquidated damages and arbitration is considered an optional initial. So make sure to remove the optional one and put in a real initial field. I'll show you in a second about that. And then you can see it's very long. The contract has gotten longer and longer with time. We're going to keep it simple today and we just have Alec Leva, an individual. He's not an entity. We're not going to talk about the seller. Sometimes listing agents don't want you to put the seller name, especially if it's a trust or a probate. The person on the tax records is not actually the seller. So you're kind of messing it up if you write in a seller name. So it's okay. Or if you want to check, you can ask the listing agent. And finally, down here, we just want to make sure that we have everything correct. You can see that it didn't put my phone number in. You want to make sure that it's all complete. Everything else looks good. If I was writing it with another agent or something like that, I would put the second co-buyer's agent or something like that. And I would also use, if there's more than one agent involved on a team or something like that, you would check this box and use the AAA. All right, and all of Chris's information looks good. Happy there. So just kind of check it all over. And it's going to now take us, because of this thread here, it's going to take us to the PSRA after this, which we've already done. There's our PSRA, we already did, where I'm asking the other agent to pay, or the other seller to pay 2.5. We're going to check one more time. Oh, is it all complete? It is. Okay. Then we have the VA, FHA, VA mandatory clause, all filled out. Holy cow, that's a lot of information. Okay, did not put his phone number there, but that's okay. Okay, this is all basic stuff. This is the SPBB, where we asked them to pay the commission. The other one was the buyer representation agreement, so I'm sorry. This is the one where the contingency removal that we put in for no appraisal, because Alec is rolling in the dough. And we are ready to sign. So when we're ready to sign, here's what we're going to do. We're going to check off everything we want to put in. We're going to put in all these things along with the contingency removal. And here we go. We're going to click on this. We have some other choices. If you're not ready to sign or you just want to print something out or email it to someone just to review, you can hit the send button and just send it to them to just look at it. If you want to download it to your computer and use another application to get it signed, like .loop, you can just download it and have it on your computer and then put it to .loop and get it signed there. If you need to print it or if you want to delete. So I use DocuSign. You may want to just use Authentisign because it's free. And so here we go. I'm going to click the sign button. It's now going to take us into outer space and bring us back to DocuSign. First, before we get to DocuSign, it's going to take us and ask us, are we happy with the forms that we chose? Number one. Are we also happy with the order? If I'm not happy with the order, I can change it now. And I am actually going to change it. I'm going to put the FHA VA thing here above, and I'm going to put the contingency removal above. In other words, I'm going to put the paying stuff last, the PSRA and the SPB, just cause. And actually, if you really want to go there, I'm going to put the SPBB first. I'd say that's a good way to put it in that order. Okay. Hi, Pam. Morning.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to hit the next button, and you can see that it has us set up with DocuSign. If I was an AuthentiSign guy, it would be there too, but it knows me as a DocuSigner. So I'm going to go to the next button, and I now need to choose the signers I want. So I'm going to choose myself because I'm the buyer's agent that needs to sign some stuff. Now watch what happens. I don't have Alex's email address yet. And I go ahead and try to check it off. Oh, it doesn't allow me. Do you mind?
Sure.
What is
It's Alec Leyva. So my last name is Leyva
Uh-oh.
at Gmail.
And see what happens when the buyer's agent doesn't ask the buyer their name. Okay, Alex Leyva, what?
Alec Leyva
Alec-
at Gmail.
Alec Leyva at gmail.com. Oops, I made a mistake. Can I change it? It's too late to change it. So, oh well. Alec Leyva with an I is about to buy a house. Okay. So now I'm here. And one interesting thing about here is right now it has me as the buyer's agent signing first. It has me signing first and has Alex signing second. I want to change it in both of us to be sign at the same time or have the ability. So here we go. Next. And here we go. And now it's going to take us to DocuSign. It's going to incorporate the DocuSign app.
So
Yeah.
will you click, okay, sign order 1 in 1, so it
So
doesn't make.
it's going to, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't mind. I'm going to sign at the same time as he does. It's all good. Okay. So now I'm
You
here.
can do that when it's two buyers.
Sometimes I do it where I want to be signed first. Sometimes I do it where I want them to sign first and then I'll sign second. If you want, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah. Okay, so now oh, look at this. All the signature fields are already there. Pre-done. That's what I love about it. It's all done. There's one exception. So I apologize. I'm going to scroll way ahead and you're going to see, watch this. You'll see I'm going to find it pretty fast. See how it looks different? So this one is an optional email. And this one is a optional initial. And this is a regular initial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it out, trash it. And I'm going to bring it in. Now, the only funny part, watch how big the initial is going to be. It's bigger. So it doesn't matter, but I'm going to try to make it look the same size as the last one. Now that I did that, now the initial will be the size I already did. Okay. And then we're going to keep going. And it's all done. Take my word for it. It's all there. I think there's one thing I want to check. Okay, yeah, so it's all there, even me. See, I'm there too. Okay, so now I wanted to take one thing in case you do this. You can see right now the subject line of the DocuSign when the client gets it is going to say 10545 Hailden. Maybe you want to say something else. And if you're ever using DocuSign or whatever, kind of label and say what it is so they know. So I usually change the message and I'll just say offer maybe or purchase agreement or whatever. So there you go. And then it's sent out to both the client, the buyer, Alec, and me, the agent. And that's it.
Cute.
Yeah, right.